Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to the Frame Mindset podcast. My name is Constant Brooks, and this episode is called, you know, Hand Me Up and Hand Me Down. I know this episode became relevant, and why it's relevant to me is relevant, are relevant to me now or to you is that, I'm going through this phase, and what happens is that, when you are growing up, and I grew up in my grandma's place or whatever place, they're going, I growing up and you see different families stuff, and you see what happens that when they go into a different family house, you see that they value certain stuff. Like if back in my grandma's place, they have things called silverines or stuff like that. And what happens that if you when you're younger, if you break them, you'll be like, oh my god, why you break those stuff? Cause what happened was that during her time, she traveled and worked and got those stuff, and those stuff valuable, were valuable, were valuable. So back in the time when I was growing up, and then when she bought it, you know, doing if you do like exchange rate and money rate and stuff like that, those would be high quality purchases at that time. So if little me now breaking those stuff would actually be like, yo, I'm throwing away like $1 million to her, So breaking those, me growing up, breaking those stuff was like, that's the thing about having a child. Boom, breaking those stuff, you actually be like, yo, this is it's rough, it's rough. But what happened was there were things now. So like, boom, we're going to school, and then what happens? That, I don't. In my situation, it never really happened that much. But then when we're going to school with people, what happens is that they have hand me down. So like, boom, first usually I go to school there, and then what happens is that they say, oh, okay, I wear my other person family clothes because they actually start wearing it and stuff like that. Hand me downs, and stuff. And those are lessons they learn in the poorer days. Poorer days. What happens is that those lessons can translate to extend life or anything. And what do I mean by that is that boom, so go back to the silverines and stuff. And these are same thing with clothes and everything. And what happens is that certain things like silverine and stuff like that, what they value, you at the time may not actually know the 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 real use of that thing, are not ready for that the full use of that thing. What that mean is that, say they have a mug, so a mug, and I say you're coming from poor times to a richer time, and why they value you going to a like you're going to a certain place and see like a lot of mugs and all those stuff is that what they have maybe a big family. So when we have a family get together, all those fancy cups and all those stuff comes out for the fancy dinner and all those things. But when it's finished, you put it back. But if you're not rich like that, you can't just order to go out and just use them casually when the family is gone and all those. You can't just use them casually and all those stuff. So you want to actually keep them, and when you pull them out, it's actually special and all that stuff. But when you actually put it back, you know, but if you're rich enough, then you can actually buy a better one, better quality cup and all those stuff. And then what happens that maybe one of those other cups now that you use on special occasions become now one of the casual ones. So that's an example of hand me hand um hand me down and stuff. So these things will relate to lots of various episodes we talk about perspective of experience, useful things becoming useful. Those episodes, it actually relates. If you actually listen to those episodes, you actually get this one real, um, really good. And what that means is that you so yeah, and it's yeah, I said, and it's a proper way to actually keep the lifespan of things in lifespan of things. So what happens is that boom, certain things where you so like for example watches. You will say I'm in the age now where smartwatches are the thing. Smartwatches and having a smartwatch made me actually appreciate the sophisticatedness of a watch. But that doesn't mean that the normal clock isn't useful. What it means is that the smartwatch made me appreciate the sophisticated of what a clock is. So the ability to keep track of time. That's what it actually means. So what happens is that you grow on and see people do things like collect watches and all those stuff. It's because they actually reach the point where they actually see the value of time. Where they so the different watches now represents how much you value your time. And the richer you go, the more you like, oh my god. So that's why things like Rolex and all those stuff. You want to get the better watches because what I- in the broker days you'll be like, oh my god, bro, why the hell would I spend 50 or stuff on a watch or stuff like that? But as you value and appreciate what a watch can do, or a clock, what a clock and all these stuff can do, then you can actually be like, oh my god, I understand the sophisticatedness of watches and stuff, why I want to get the best watch and all those stuff. So so how that relates back to everything is that you have hand-me-downs and hand-me-ups. So you have like boom, so I talk about the fancy souvenir cups and all those stuff and things. I think about it is that while I say it in theory, it's hard to do in practice because what happens is that your family may come in from a poor time. So all these ideas, is so futuristic. So futuristic. So futuristic. So what happens that boom, say I have these I'm in the fourth year of my own ownership. So what happens is that boom, I have certain cups and all those stuff that I've been given. What happens is that you have certain cups now, or certain things that you will deem special. You'll be like, oh my god, I will only use this in an emergency case. But then you have certain cups and you'll be like, oh my god, I'm not gonna use this casually. And what will happen is that you go out and you may one day in the future years from now, you break that cup, or you break that plate, or you break all of your plates. That's years and years from now. What happens that you can finally go back to your old place and be like, oh my god, I can finally use this one plate that I have for centuries, that my family had for centuries, and all those stuff. And why is that? Because what happens that the first thing is that you appreciate the value of the plate that you were given, so you actually keep that plate. So me actually may not even need to use another plate for years upon years upon years until that plate wears and tears and it breaks. So the first thing is that you appreciate the value of the plate you were given. Then when you actually go back to your old family place and get the new plate, then you understand the value of that plate as well. You know? But and then you actually want to keep that plate. That plate will be more special and all those stuff. And so that's the thing with antique stuff and all these stuff. So I said these stuff actually become really relevant now. I guess I really explained the way I want to, but I spoke about the two episodes that would actually give you a better understanding of what I'm saying in this episode. Where be like useless things becoming useful and perspective of experience. Where be like why that episode would actually relate to this one very well is because your grandmother or older generation is that they have a better, they are living a more futuristic time than you. So what happens is that when you're younger, or so they will purchase stuff based on their perspective of experience. So what would that mean in that in science terms? So Einstein, and there's a lot of other scientists and all those stuff. Einstein, if you go to specifically, Einstein's a physicist, and I do bio and chemistry. So, but if you do science, Einstein is a big name when you're actually growing up, when you're actually coming up. But the higher you go, you'll be like, oh my god, bro, Einstein just average, right? The higher you go, you'll be like, oh my god, right? But he actually did some stuff. But the thing is that I I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying, bro. About Einstein. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh, but what I say? So Einstein is a big person. So what that means that in, in me going and saying okay, but Einstein started passed away before I was born, way before I was born. So what happened is that if me now going on my journey, say okay, I'm gonna try to become the number one in my generation and all those stuff. That doesn't mean I neglect what Einstein done has done. You know, Einstein has done his thing for his time. So I take his knowledge and then fully understand it. And then I will say, okay, use it to its fullest potential. And then I found out one little chink and be, oh my God, boom, this changed the game forever. And what that is in science, and that is a version of hand me down, where you take somebody else, you take the knowledge. I actually reference them, like, oh my God, yeah, yeah. And be like, oh my God, and use it to its fullest extent. You use it to its fullest extent, and then what happens that when you use it to the fullest extent, then you actually form something new. I guess that's how the PhD level work we actually become doctorate level. That don't really reach that level, I think. But so that's a version of Hamilton where be like, oh my god, you use it to its fullest potential, and then you found something new. And the thing about it is that you found something new, but you don't know if it's new or not. It's so special to you until eventually be like, oh my god, nobody else have actually found this out, and then be like, oh my god, you have become so revolutionary, so revolutionary. But what happened was that it wasn't something really revolutionary. It was that you took something from back in the days that that was futuristic at that time. You use it to its fullest potential, and then you found a better way in your time. And then what will happen is that future generation now will actually just benefit and use your thing now as the standard until someone else from that generation come in now and use your thing to its fullest potential, and then found something new, and then he will be like, oh my god, I am the legendary thing of my generation and all those stuff. And that's how so that's our version of hand me down, hand me up and hand me down in the science world. But these in my 40th home ownership, I understand the value of that now, where like that is a way of extending life, where extending life, where we like, okay, I'm in the fourth year now, and starting out the things that I have now, and then I say I've been raised in my grandmother's place. So I'll go up there and see all this stuff now, where I would think they would not be relevant at that time, and be like, oh my god, these are relevant now, and be like, yes. Mhm. and be like, yes, these are relevant now. And then you'll be like, oh my God, yeah. But that's a version of Hamidon Hamidon. And that is a way to actually get yourself out of poverty as well. Where be like you use the stuff that you have well, very well, and then yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, but these are actual these are actual stuff, bro. These are actual these you know this episode just came to me, bro. I feel weird recording it. You know, at this point, it sounds like a good idea if you recording it now. But yeah, it's good to record it, not from necessary for me. It's for me now, but it's for me in the future as well. Yeah, it's for me ideally in the future when I fully maximize everything from my from my grandma's place. Fully maximize everything to the fullest extent and be like, oh my god. Then I actually start adding a place. You know? So yeah, yeah. So it actually came to me. And that's the thing where I be like learn from and respect your elders and stuff like that because they're going through years of things. And speaking of years of stuff, today again is actually Heroes Day in my country. So why, speaking about the grammar stuff, it's actually relevant, because now if I become a legend, bro, well, one day she'll be a hero, bro. One day, just like all the other people I mentioned to be heroes. One day we should be a hero as well. Be like, oh my god, bro. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, heroes day back in our place. But it's like, yo, hand me down, hand me up, bro. It's actually something relevant. Something relevant as a way to you, and the same thing again when I speak about things like churches can upgrade and all these stuff, and why that is. I speak about church upgrade and why that. Same thing again. I go to church and it's like different denomination and all those stuff. Boom, one Bible, one God, all these stuff. Same thing again is that and I spoke about the big church, speaking about millions and millions and millions and stuff. What happens that I realized is I spoke about the episode about Love Not the World. That episode happens that when you actually go out in the real world, you see a lot of shops. And this is another episode where be like I want to record as well, but I guess I can mention it now. It'll be like you're either employee or a customer at this phase. You're either employee or customer, and this is relevant. So if someone is getting used, so it's like why that why that thing was important was because so hand me down, hand me up. A big church, and be like, and this is in the Bible as well, where it be like, oh my God, yeah, a poor, I think, I don't really remember the exact part, where like a poor person, they were out here giving offering in our church. Everybody out here giving a lot, big money, and then this poor lady come in and gave a little amount and stuff, and be like, oh my God, this little lady, our person money is worth way more than all these other money. Why? Why? Because what? All of you gave out of your riches, bro. She gave out of her poverty. So that little dollar that she gave was um was more um valuable than the rest of the money because they are giving out of their riches and stuff like that. Same thing at Hamilton and Hamilton, the big church and all those stuff. You know, that's the thing about religion and all this. People say religion and all this stuff. When you become big, you forget the little person, bro. And I spoke about this as well again in a previous episode. It'd be like, you know, when you reach the top, you have when you reach the top, have to actually just start set the foundation again and find a way to actually go. I think this is very called trickle down economics and all these foolish bro. Yeah, but yeah, all these stuff is relevant at the time. Yeah, at the time, I'll be like, yo, you start out yourself, bro, and then you start giving back to the bottom. And what would that mean is that you're giving away certain things that you feel that to you are low quality, but to someone else is actually high quality. Just like one man trash and another man treasures and all those stuff. You know. So to you at that point in time it's low quality, but to someone else it's very high quality. And what will happen is that you realize that as you go up certain levels, you go to you understand the reason for certain traditional ways and all those stuff. And that's the thing where the next thing I get will be like certain people you see certain people in certain situation and be like, oh my god, they call them mad and all those stuff. Sometimes another phase in life, bro. Sometimes another phase in life where you just don't understand it. So it's like, yo, yeah, I said, this is a weird episode, bro. But I actually like this episode because I want to apply it to its fullest extent. When I apply it to its fullest extent, bro, I'll be like, oh my god, bro. You know, I want to apply it to its fullest extent. But you can't. You never know what will happen, bro. You never know what will happen, bro. It's a weird world. You never know what will happen. But this is a way to actually raise families out of poverty. We'll be like, hand me down, hand me up. We'll be like, okay. And this is the next reason why you can all clear not the well no the king, not the queen anymore. But the monarch is actually something very, very futuristic for their time. And that is a version of the monarch is a version of hand me up and hand me down. You know. So what happened is that you reach a point where the queen sadly passed away and all those stuff. But what happened is that the king now takes up the role, which is one of her sons or something like that. And she just and the son basically coming now and living this balling life due to her mother's actually putting in the work. But at the time now, as a king now, he has to come back now and actually start refresh everything now and come back and start re- replace and then put everything now into his liking. And then when everything is now into his liking now, then he's officially now the king now. That's all the coronation and all those stuff happen now. And then what happens after that is then now he actually just start living in his balling life until he kicks back in his grave and then what happens now future generation that he actually get benefits from that now um his balling days. And that's how the monarch starts. That's how the monarch starts. And we're like, oh my god, hand me down, the hand me down, hand me up ideas and all those stuff. That's how you actually start these stuff. So, I said these things, bro, not these are not new. And the thing about it is that these ideas is not that they're new, they're being applied. But what will happen is that boom, you see a person is working at a certain job and be like, oh my god, dude, you want to put a gun to the face. And it's like, the certain things that also be like, oh my god, just have just chill and just wait your turn. Wait until they get your full idea and be like, oh my god, implement it. But sometimes you can't really help them in certain ways. What you can actually do to help them is actually be less of a burden and be more of a customer. And what will happen is they'll be more a customer, then you actually be like, oh my god, they found a futuristic way. Well, I said that this episode it goes all around. But yeah, at the end of the day, bro, the hand me down, hand me up thing, just like is actually. a great way to use all the stuff that you have been, years that, for example, ancestors before you has put in the work to get to actually push it forward. So you use to the fullest extent, then you basically do your own thing and push it forward. So that's a way. That's a way to actually do it. To be like, yo, hand me down, hand me down. And the thing is that the older you get, bro, the more I say I come from this country and all this stuff. These old sayings, these old time sayings, bro, this actually becomes way more applicable, way more applicable. What? And the thing about it is that, boom, see, I want to be a scientist and the top scientist and all that. So all these basic proverbs and all these old things and all these. So if I want to be the legend, bro, I have to learn all these stuff to its maximum, bro, to its maximum. And then when I use it to its maximum, then I can find my breakthrough, bro. When I found my breakthrough, that's when I become the legend, bro. That's when. But until then, bro, you can't actually do it like that. I've done certain stuff to break certain stuff, but we still have ways to go. I'm still here. We still have ways to go. But this is another one of my breakthrough. I'll be like, oh my god, bro, that was so revolutionary. I couldn't think of that, bro. I couldn't think of that. But people before me, I thought of that. People before me, I thought of that. And that's the thing about this life. Your breakthrough will not come in like that. What happens that you're going to have to go through and study other people's work. I said that's a PhD thing, bro. So that's why this episode will become relevant because what happens that I've actually go out and start learn people's work and all these stuff, read and all these things. That's why this hand me down, hand me up episode is so relevant in your science journey. Because what happens that now you're going to actually start taking stuff from other people now. You have to actually use them right. You have to actually use them right. Be like, okay, yeah, yeah. This is um this is this person's work and all these stuff. This yeah, so when you reach this episode, bro, this is the level this is the level that you reach. You'll be like, oh my god, bro. Yeah. You have to actually start putting in the work and actually find a way to use the knowledge that you have gained and turn them into dollars, bro. That's so you have to actually read, learn, and all these stuff, and apply, and all these things, bro. That's this is so when I listen to this episode, bro, this is this level of the journey that you're in, bro. Yeah. So yeah, I said, bro, this episode I actually love it, bro. I actually love it. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening. And look forward for the next episode. Mm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page Reframing Mindset Podcast or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.